What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the fourth studio album by indietronica, an indie pop band that makes elements of rap and rock, I suppose, into their music. 21 Pilots from Columbus, Ohio. Their fourth album is titled Blurryface and is the follow-up to 2012's highly successful album Vessel. 21 Pilots went unsigned for a while. They released two totally independent albums, and I thought it was kind of a shame that they didn't blow up. But they finally have gotten to that level of success, but some bands never get there simply because it's hard for a band to kind of get themselves out there and find their audience, if you will. There's actually a new site called Boombox.fm that's making it really easy for emerging artists to kind of get themselves out there, and it's really simple to sign up for as well. If you can see here on screen, I signed up for it in about 30 seconds. All you do is check 3 different boxes for the genres that you would like, and every single week you'll get an email containing free downloads of songs from brand new artists that you've never heard of. It's not going to be like Lady Gaga or Green Day or The Killers. It's going to be all brand new stuff, not from major labels. It's all independent people who are just trying to get their names out there and actually hook you up with free and legal downloads. And they've got all of these curators from like all over the world putting together this stuff and putting together emails for you each and every week. And the best part is it's completely free. So if you'd like to sign up for it, you'll not only help support this channel, but you'll do yourself a favor really, because you'll get a lot of new music each and every week. Check that top link in the description down below and you'll find maybe your next 21 Pilots. Vessel was a very impressive album, but let's get something out of the way. How do you follow something like that up? You've got tracks like Guns for Hands and the heart-wrenching Car Radio, which can still bring me to the point of tears if I sit down and think about the lyrics. Well, you follow it up with some of your best material to date. Let's clear the elephant in the room right away, because no, I did not care for the lead single Fairly Local the first time I heard it. The first couple of times I heard it, I should say. It kind of sounded like outdated kind of glitch hop to me the first few listens, but it's definitely safe for me to say that I am enjoying this track a whole lot more right now. Sarcasm and apathy seem to be very prevalent on the Ohio duo single here, managing to get a hook jammed inside my head without necessarily being all that catchy. Blurryface is an album though. What's it all about? Well, as per usual, Tyler Joseph, the main lyricist of this band, the man of 2 first names, the man of 2 personalities, crafts songs that kind of balance the joy and the depression that we find in everyday life. Peace will win and fear will lose, and that's something that I feel like gets proved over the course of this album. Both of these guys are Christians, and that definitely bleeds through into some of their music, some of the lyricism. Hometown is an example of that practically cries out to a city that just has not seen the light, while some of the tracks have a message that's a little bit more hidden and more open to interpretation. I suppose that's the case for really any of the tracks though. Blurryface seems to be a character or else a mode that Joseph kind of slips into whenever he's doubting himself or maybe feeling a little bit insecure, and I think Blurryface is someone that kind of preys on him when he's weak. I'm not the first to note this, but it does seem like the persona seems to disappear on uplifting jams like Tear in My Heart, which I see as being one of the best songs of this year so far. Joseph recently got married, and I feel like this track is just all about him kind of falling in love with a woman that accepts him as he is, a tortured, poetic soul. The synthesizers here are absolutely riveting, while the traditional keys kind of lead the stop and go verses into the chorus that just explodes and kind of soars all over the place and features a wide array of instrumentation. Joseph flawlessly transitions between singing and rapping on the mesmerizing Heavy Dirty Soul, which kicks off this record in similar fashion to Vessel's Ode to Sleep. Dirty Soul sounds absolutely spectacular, with Joseph showing off his clever wordplay and social commentary while still tying things together with a sparkling chorus. Keeping with the more upbeat tracks, or the seemingly upbeat tracks, we have We Don't Believe What's on TV and even the well thought out Jim the Judge that deliver on all levels. We Don't Believe is one of those tracks that's totally not upbeat at all if you pay attention to the lyrics, but it seems very sunshiny if you're just kind of happily-go-luckily listening to it. Joseph even admitted on track number 13 on this record, Not Today, that he kind of writes songs, he has a habit of writing songs that is, that kind of feign happiness. They have this upbeat feel about them, but they have the dark lyrics to contrast them. This song kind of feeds the idea that we all dream a little bit too big because of what we see others accomplishing, whether it be on TVs, movies, or even in social media, but can we really achieve those dreams? Nonetheless, this is a fast-paced and exciting track that clocks in as the shortest song on this album, and it's almost impossible to skip over. The judge is kind of the house of gold of this record. It's led by a ukulele and sees Joseph venture into some interesting territory vocally. He challenges himself here, which I really think is a good thing. He kind of gets those falsetto vocals at times, but then he kind of pulls it back in and makes one of the most hooky choruses on the entire record. The song has an excellent pace about it. It kind of changes up the tempo a couple of times and just kind of keeps me reeled in because I'm not exactly sure what kind of turn it's going to take next, and it does so without burning itself out. Josh Dunn's drumming here is a lot more traditional here compared to some of the more electronic beats that have been fired up to this point in the album. But where there's light, there's definitely dark to contrast it, like I was saying. Lane Boy deals with the pressures of succeeding in the music industry, period, and of course, the fear of failure and following up something that did end up being very successful. Then you have the track Doubt, which sees Joseph struggling with God. It seems like he's having a hard time believing that he won't be deserted in his time of need, and while the song does have plenty of pop appeal, it's really actually pretty deep. He pleads, "Even when I doubt you, I'm no good without you," and things actually get pretty emotional. I'm not usually a fan of whenever singers kind of do the repeated syllable thing, aka when Joseph goes on the track, "Don't forget about me," but somehow it actually clicked with me on first listen. It wasn't something that I really had to grow on me, and I was kind of surprised at that. The creeping synths build in intensity and lead quite well into the chorus of this track, backed by Dunn's hip-hop style drum claps. And how about that drum solo on the end of Lane Boy? It's something that I feel like could be in the action sequence of one of the Fast and Furious movies. It sounds fantastic. While not necessarily dark, the single Stressed Out easily gets its point across. It's tough to be original. It sucks to grow up and have a ton of responsibility thrown on you. These are just the facts, and the duo manages to pump out that message in a way that feels fresh and creative. I think it's going to make a lot of people kind of think back to simpler times, kind of miss their childhood, and if you watch the music video for the song, it seems like that's what they were going for. It's got a rather bouncy instrumental on the track, featuring peppy keys, ticking drums, and spaced out synths. It's the perfect balance between hip-hop and electro-pop, a line that the band have always seemed to manage to be on the right side of. The character Blurryface makes an appearance here on this track, and it's pretty interesting whenever he comes into perspective because Joseph's kind of fighting him off. This character is saying, "Hey, get up, go make money, go do something with yourself," and he's kind of like, you know what, I don't really want to deal with all the stress of life right now. The line, "My name's Blurryface and I care what you think," really struck me. Maybe it's because I see it as practically oozing with sarcasm, but then again, maybe it's actually just his insecurities presenting themselves as a surprisingly straightforward fact. Comments on videos, the world of web stars, and social media are touched on later in the track The Message, so it's tough to really know exactly how Joseph feels about blowing up and his place in the spotlight. Ride follows immediately after and almost feels like a continuation of that track in terms of its production style and the track's setup. The synths roar, the bass booms, and the track really just manages to be another bright spot on Blurryface. While my complaints are rather small, there are a few cuts near the end of this thing that just don't interest me quite as much. Some moments just feel like the duo is running laps and hitting the same points multiple times, but for the most part, I can be pretty forgiving in those regards. Before you get a migraine thinking about when is he gonna talk about it, let's go ahead and discuss the closing track, Goner. I tweeted out my thoughts on this the first time that I played the album, and I actually said this: "Good God, Goner by 21 Pilots is one hell of a way to end an album." Well, need I say more? Okay, I will. Goner has actually been in the works since 2012, and a lot of fans were actually thinking that maybe they were just gonna scrap it. It was never gonna find its way onto a record and see the light of day. Well, it did, and it's definitely making an impact. This song is extremely hard-hitting and sees Joseph once again dealing with the demon of doubt that he calls Blurry. He seems to feel lost here as he cries of his insecurities, hoping that people will recognize him as being something more than just those. Before the climax of this track starts to come in, he whispers, "Don't let me be gone, don't let me be gone," before literally screaming the same words, and they somehow gain that much more power whenever they're said in a different way just because of the inflection and the purpose that he puts behind those words. The instrumentation blows up to monstrous proportions here in a moment that I can only describe as a tornado kind of briefly touching down, tearing into you before going back up into the sky from wherever it came. The band says that the point of their music is to make people think, and they definitely succeeded based on those merits. It's a slight step up from Vessel, full of effortless transitions from calm to chaos, shimmering synthesizers, driving drums, and the well thought out musings of lyricist Tyler Joseph. Blurryface is without a doubt worth your time, and the album gets a 4.5 from me. If you've heard the excellent album Blurryface by 21 Pilots, let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. I am really interested to hear what you guys are thinking about this one. I know that so many people were excited for this record, and I'm glad that it seems to have really paid off in a big way. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy it, because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. And if you would like to help support this channel, don't forget to check out our sponsor, Boombox.fm. Thank you so much for sponsoring us today, and it's a really cool site. Get yourself some free music downloads from emerging artists. It's that top link in the description down below. If there's any other albums you would like to see me cover, let me know about them in the comment section down below, and I will see you very soon right here on ARTV.